Hello, my fellow creatives, and welcome to my channel. I am Imani the writer, and today is Q&A day, the day I comb through your questions and give you the answers that you are looking for. On my channel, we talk about writing, storytelling, creating awesome characters of color, and inclusive stories that readers of color will love. And I am super excited to comb through all of your questions and to see if I can help you guys out and give my perspective. So let's get into it. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a short disclaimer. I am a writing coach and a sensitivity reader, and I help writers and creatives bring more cultural diversity to their writing. I do this by combining my knowledge of analyzing stories from my English literature degree, my passions for stories and storytelling, and my own personal experiences and opinions as a person, reader, and writer of color. But no one is an expert or the ultimate end-all be-all authority in this arena. These are just my thoughts and my perspective. I'm super open to feedback, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, first question. Do you have any tips for dialogue for Black characters? I have a couple Black characters with individual personalities and voices, but I want to make sure I represent them well in their identity. Awesome question. First off, I just kind of want to reiterate that there is no one Black voice. And this is because not all Black people are from the same place. Capturing their voices authentically is going to depend a lot on their culture, on their particular ethnicity, and where they grew up. If you want to include different dialects like AAVE or even Jamaican Patois, for example, in your story, but you're nervous about how to go about that process, here are my thoughts. First, just draft the dialogue and just focus on the main idea of what it is you want your character to say. Then have a sensitivity reader look over the dialogue to see if there's anything that they might change, assuming they would change anything at all. And of course, try to pick a sensitivity reader of a similar background, or ideally the exact same background as the character that you are writing about in your story. Let's say, for example, your character speaks Jamaican Patois and you're curious about how I would go about that particular process. Be sure to check out my previous video on Jamaican Patois. I'll make sure that it's somewhere on the screen and link it down in the description box below. Now, if I was your sensitivity reader and you were my client, here is what I would do. I've made it part of my particular policy that my sensitivity reading clients get a free 30-minute consult to discuss my findings that I would have written in a written report. This is typically at the end, like when I'm ready to give my final thoughts on everything that I've read so far. Your situation, however, seems to be pretty unique, so I would instead not do it at the end, but sort of in the middle, towards the end, but not completely like at the end, like this is my final thoughts, kind of thing. First, I would advise you to create like a separate Google Doc with the specific pieces of dialogue that you would like for me to review or to look at, unless you want me to just look at the entire book, if that's the case. But if your only concern is the dialogue, you don't have to pay for an entire book to be read. You can create a separate Google Doc with just the pieces of dialogue, as well as like little snippets in between scenes of dialogue to kind of keep me up to date with what's going on with the story, like a super quick summary, just so that I have the context that I need to understand what I'm looking at. If we're taking a look at the whole book, separate them and organize them scene by scene. We'll take this bad boy on one scene at a time. So I would read it over and give my initial thoughts, but they wouldn't be my final remarks. We would have the initial consult to kind of discuss things scene by scene. That'll be an opportunity for me to ask any clarifying questions that I might need to ask to properly understand the context. Then after the consult, I would quickly review my notes to see if there's anything that I would change given the new insights that I got from that meeting. And ideally, finalize any remarks while you're still on the call, actually. And it'll be like all my initial remarks will be in the Google Doc for you to be able to see in real time. So So I would be able to make changes in real time if necessary. And let's say we ran out of time. Maybe we can always book another conference call or correspond via email or something. I don't know, we'd figure it out. But that's kind of my idea about what I would do for this unique situation. And every sensitivity reader is different. This is just kind of my idea about like how I would maybe want to approach this particular situation. If you're a sensitivity reader, comment down below your thoughts. Like, how would you particularly tackle this situation? If dialogue help gets a lot of like demand on the channel, if a lot of people really want my help with that particularly, I could like create like a separate package for that. So to kind of optimize that process a little bit more, to make it more unique for its own particular situation. I don't know. You guys let me know if that's something that you guys would find really helpful. Okay, question number 2. Are there any resources about historical hair care that you would recommend? One of my main characters is Black, but my book is in the Edwardian era. Not off the top of my head, but I do want to look into this a little bit. So let's do a little research, okay? Let me get my glasses on so that we can do our research. First, I want to look into the Edwardian era hairstyles. Okay, let me see some more. It's giving Bridgerton, isn't it? Yeah, it's giving Bridgerton. That might not be historically accurate, you know what I'm saying? But like, if we're just playing around with hairstyles, I feel like we can kind of start that process with the whole Bridgerton thing. So actually, I want to look up Bridgerton hairstyles for Black women on Pinterest. And the reason why I'm doing this has to do with like SEO. It's kind of like the marketer part of my brain. Like, we're trying to find resources for Black hairstyles in the Edwardian era. That feels like we may not necessarily find what we're looking for, because that is super specific. Bridgerton is a very popular TV show. I'm sure that there are a lot of Black women that are very creative and looking to recreate certain styles from that show that kind of fit that aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? So let's look this up on Pinterest. Bridgerton hairstyles. Ooh. Black women. Let's see what pops up. Okay, I like this. Okay. Ooh. Okay. We're working with something here. We got something going here. We do. So I would say a good step is to kind of do this research on Pinterest on your own for like really great inspiration. Maybe create an entire mood board dedicated to this particular character specifically. What other keywords might work? Maybe princess core, cottage core. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're seeing similar ones, but this is new. A few of these are different. Okay. Oh, I love the butterflies. Okay. We got something here. Okay, so you did like a nice little cursory research here with Pinterest. Now I think the next natural step would be to do the same thing with YouTube, to kind of see and get a sense for how these styles would actually be created. All right, let's see what we got here. Ooh. Okay.
In this video, I'm going to show you a few different royal hairstyles that you can wear for the spring and summer season. I am starting off with a week-old wash and go for realistic purposes to kind of show you guys how amazing these styles can look on our natural curls, fresh or not. I did notice that there was still some hair product left in my curls, so just try to ignore that as much as you can, but I'm starting off with something pretty basic where I'm just making a little bang by taking the front section of my hair and simply folding it right underneath itself. And I'm going to add a couple of little bobby pins to make sure that it's nice and secure.
I love her makeup too. Oh my gosh. She's so pretty. Yes.
Now this first style is kind of like a half up, half down situation, so I like to kind of puff out the back, leaving the bang nice and neat in the front. I also use this style for a variety of aesthetics, not just princess core. This gives a vintage feel, but also a very regal look, depending on the style of clothing you wear, I guess. I love it for both.
And the accessories too.
Very simple, very quick, and very elegant. I just used my favorite headband to top it all off, called Miss Bridgerton from Once Upon a Time Boutique.
Okay, Miss Bridgerton. Okay. Alright, I'll link this video in the description, but let's move on. I want to see if there's anything else we can find. There's a few hairstyles here that could work too. Like we saw like the intro for like what we're in for. So let's move on, find some other videos that might be a good fit.
Hey guys! Today I want to show you 4 1940s inspired braided hairstyles. I recently came across a lot of photographs and videos of braided hairstyles from the 1930s to 1940s, and I thought they were so much fun. And then I'm starting to braid my hair, and as you can see I'm doing this at the very bottom of my head just because that is what it looked like to me on the photograph. I'm securing my braid
the music is so good.
just because I don't have any small hair tie, and then I am also loosening my braid a bit so that it looks a bit less tight.
Can I speed this up?
And then I am doing the same exact thing on the other side. Now on to my front sections. So I'm taking one of them and I'm doing this kind of victory roll, so I'm rolling my hair towards my head.
Let's look at the like finished looks and kind of
To give it the final touch, I am curling my ends with my hands, which is only possible because of my hair structure. So if you have natural straight hair, then you can of course just use a curling iron and you're good to go. And that's the final look. I really like this one. I think it's so fun and fresh and also very practical for days where you just don't feel like curling your hair the night before.
Alright, so we got some stuff going on here. We got some things to work with. Now again, even though this is like a different era, clearly, I would urge you to keep looking into other hairstyles, any other vintage hairstyles from various different eras for Black women, mainly because I feel like some of the main differences in terms of making the style fit the era has to do with the accessories. Like there's something there that could be like, even with the one that we just looked at, there's something there that could work for like the Edwardian era with just very minimal tweaks and some additive stuff when it comes to like accessories and your wardrobe and anything like that. So it feels like you can very quickly like assimilate it to the era, you know what I'm saying? So I'll link these videos down below, and I urge you to continue looking for more, looking for others, and doing more of your own research. Now, when you are watching hair videos from various content creators, it's really, really important to not only just watch, but also listen, because they're telling you what they're doing for one, but they're also telling you sometimes what they're feeling. Especially when they're working with different products, they'll tell you how their hair feels, how the product feels. So pay attention, write down and jot down any keywords that pop up, and take note of any products or tools that they may have used. As for hair care styles specifically, like to achieve the styles, I'm hearing wash and go, twist outs, braid outs, like blowouts, you know what I'm saying, that kind of stuff, as a core way to get the hair to look a certain kind of way for these styles to be achieved. So when it comes to wash and goes, when it comes to kind of twist outs, maybe keeping it simple. Water, oils, maybe you could look up certain creams, I guess hair creams or whatever that were around during that era. The only thing is to just not mention tools or products that didn't exist during that era, I guess. And if there's a style you like and it's only possible to achieve that styles using tools that did not exist during that era. I'll let you decide how you want to handle it. Personally, if historical accuracy is not the most important thing, like if we're thinking Bridgerton, if historical accuracy is just not that important, and we're just here having fun with representation and the time period and the aesthetics and everything like that, just don't mention it. You know what I'm saying? Just don't mention how the style was achieved. Just describe the style itself and move on. Okay, next question. I wish I can find the original comment for this. Sometimes that happens where I got a question and I tried saving it in some capacity and it's just gone. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it went. I can't find it. It's just gone and it just breaks my heart because I'm like, I wanted to answer that question. But I'm going to answer it anyway because it's an awesome question. I know at some point one of you has asked me something along the lines of hairstyle ideas for black pirates. My initial thoughts, locks makes the most sense to me for sure. But let's kind of do some research and do some digging and see what comes up. Okay. Black pirates. Images. What are we working with? Okay. We got a lot of just like cut hair, bald hair. We've got locks for sure. Even some beard locks going as well. I'm seeing locks. Even Jack Sparrow. Locks. I'm mostly seeing locks. Let's see what happens on Pinterest. Black pirates. Locks for sure. Yeah, locks. I want to see more women. Okay. We're seeing more that's like not locks, maybe some simple braided styles, some that are just like wavy, I guess. Some kinky textured, some that are not. I would mostly go with locks, honestly. Or some other very simple braided style. I wouldn't go for anything too complicated. Nothing that requires a sew-in, nothing that requires heat, nothing that requires a silk press. Especially because like they're surrounded by water. So that's why I feel like locks would probably just make the most sense here. And speaking of locks, we got one more quick question. Last one for the day. One thing I'm struggling with is describing loc movement. If someone jumped off of some steps, would bounce be appropriate descriptor for loc movement? Yeah, my locks bounce. You know, when I jump, my locks jump with me. When my locks bounce, my locks sway. I don't think this is something you need to think too much about, honestly. Like, you're fine, bounce, whatever movement that makes sense for loose natural hair, I would very much doubt would be an issue for describing locks. And the only thing that comes to mind is if you're running your hands through your hair, it's gonna feel different when it's locks compared to loose natural hair. But I feel like bounce, sway, those are fine words. You know, don't overthink it. So that is it for Q&A day, you guys. This is day 1 of Q&A day here on YouTube. I'm excited to keep the series going. If you've got questions of your own, leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe if you are feeling the vibe, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!